In this timeline Tegridy special, I'm going to explain how Randy Marsh went from a background character to being the freaking star of South Park.
I'm a butterfly!
This is the complete timeline of Randy Marsh. If you'd also like to see the timelines of Butters or even Mr. Hanky, all you have to do is like this video, as it really helps the algorithm. His early life. Randy is from a long line of Marshmen in the Colorado town. Part of that heritage meant becoming a member of the Hair Club for Men, a secret organization dedicated to protecting the secret of the Easter Bunny. Something the Marshes have seemingly been involved in for many generations. He met his future wife Sharon playing Truth or Dare when they were both kids. These childhood sweethearts stayed together and would become hippies in their later teens. Randy had always had a passion for music. He's a talented guitar player, and he briefly enjoyed a career as a professional musician. In season 4's Something You Can Do With Your Finger, Randy was revealed to have been a choir singer in high school. Scouted by a music manager, Randy was soon offered a place in the manager's new boy band, the Ghetto Avenue Boys. Randy quickly took him up on it, dropping out of school and breaking up with Sharon to pursue a dream in music. Our man Marsh spent a year living it up as a pop star, making a great deal of money, and quickly spent it on lavish property, luxury goods, and a whole lot of women. But when his band was soon replaced by a younger, fresher one, Randy lost everything and so returned to South Park. He was teased relentlessly by the town, but they eventually accepted him back. Although this wouldn't be the last time that he became a musician, with Randy finding surprising success as his stage persona, Lord, in season 18. Randy the Scientist. Randy eventually went to college and got a PhD in geology. He also minored in Mongolian.
Be kute! Be sonic kute!
After college, Randy was able to find steady work as a geologist. In his first appearance in the 3rd episode Volcano, Randy warns the town's mayor of the impending doom. His plan to divert the lava away from the town works, but he inadvertently sends it to Denver City. Oopsie daisy. Despite this hiccup, Randy spent the early seasons of the show usually portrayed as one of South Park's leading scientific minds. He helped the town figure out a solution to the mystery of why people were spontaneously exploding. He made a massive breakthrough when he discovered that this was caused by holding in farts, and his discovery even won him a Nobel Prize. Although public perception on him soured when it was discovered that his farting solution also resulted in global warming. And despite this setback, Randy found a way to fix this too, and won back the town's approval.
I know you all hate me, but please, for your own sake, fart in moderation.
Anyway, going back slightly, Randy married his childhood sweetheart Sharon, and on their wedding day he dressed as his hero, explorer Christopher Columbus. Something Sharon was less than pleased about. However, he would later come to regret this when Columbus became a controversial figure and Randy was forced to hide his past from the town. And after tying the knot, they had 2 children, Shelley and Stan. And we'll go on to his rocky family life later on in the video. Randy's evolution. During the early seasons of the show, Randy was portrayed as one of the more composed adults. His wife Sharon even proved to be far more absurd, such as the time when she hid bodies that she believed were Stan's murder victims in season 2's Spooky Fish. Earlier in the show, Randy was sort of the straight man compared to the other wacky characters in the town, but as the show went on, we saw more of Randy's obsessive side, and Randy became comically enthused about pretty much anything. Almost as soon as he'd be introduced to it, he'd quickly rearrange his life in an instant, forcing his family through radical changes in quick succession. In seasons 7 and 8 alone, Randy became obsessed with leading an anti-war movement in South Park, converted the family to Mormonism with little warning, and was so struck by someone's dance moves that he ended up in hospital.
He got served. Worst I've ever seen.
But as the series moved into the latter half of the first decade, Randy picked up some more combative elements. In the season 9 episode, The Losing Edge, Randy's on a personal journey to be the loudest, drunkest, and most obnoxious father at his son's Little League games. Instead of celebrating Stan's team's victories, he instead was too busy kicking ass and getting arrested.
I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America, huh?
Rather than be embarrassed about his boorish behavior, he instead wore it as a badge of honor. This episode was a huge turning point for Randy's character. While he was once the everyday straight man, Randy had started to shift more into the spotlight. More and more episodes began to focus on Randy's fixations, whether he is trying to break the record for the largest crab, becoming a celebrity chef, or writing his own Broadway play in order to get his wife to go down on him. At one point, he also got his own show renovating houses, as well as opening up his own blockbuster, which caused him to go a bit crazy. Basically, there is never a dull moment with Randy. On top of everything, he enters every situation with a brazen confidence, often prompting him to do far more damage than good, like the time he believed they killed an alien, took its gold, and convinced every world leader to go along with his plan. The same plan that ultimately doomed the Earth to never reach its full potential as a spacefaring species. As it turns out, this was all just a test to see if Earth was ready to join its intergalactic community.
Well, that sucks.
Randy's married life. Randy and Sharon's marriage hasn't always been completely smooth. The two even briefly split in season 2's Clubhouses, to the point where Sharon even got remarried for a handful of days before returning to Randy soon after. But by the teen years of the show, after years of Randy throwing himself into wars of aggression across the US, attempts to become a celebrity chef, and just generally upending their family in an instant, Sharon and Randy were forced to admit that they weren't happy together in season 15's You're Getting Old. So the two of them split up, treated with a seriousness that South Park usually lacks. But in the literal next episode, Asperger's, Randy and Sharon gave up on their time apart and resumed their relationship, admitting they are just too set in their ways to move on.
The best thing to do is just stick with what you know.
It's a truly somber moment for the pair, and in a meta way, speaks for all those unhappy couples in cartoons that are almost forced to stay together for the sake of continuity. They've since settled back into a basic romance, and they've at least found some peace in killing each other in video games.
Well, hold on, stay by the lake. I want to kill you now.
Okay.
Randy's role as a father has dwindled progressively worse, especially in recent seasons. Shelly initially was no more aggressive towards her father than she was to anyone else in her life, but Randy's tenure as Spider-Man killed her boyfriend, and his antics have only soured her opinions of her father. Meanwhile, his relationship with his son has not been going well either. Stan has grown to resent his father, which does make sense seeing as Randy has a habit of openly insulting him and using him as a scapegoat in a literal global scale. It seems that in a lot of situations, Stan takes on the responsible role he'd hope his father would, but he doesn't, ever. With the final straw for the entire family being Randy's most recent and enduring obsession. Tegridy Farm. In season 22's Tegridy Farms, Randy opened up a business with good friend Towley. It moves the family out of South Park, which further isolates Stan from his friends, and it seems that the entire family hate this idea, with both Stan and Shelly complaining about it frequently. Anyway, thanks to his scientific expertise and personal love for the green, which has already been established in the show, he was able to produce some very impressive products. But doing so also reinvented Randy into a country farmer, and he heavily leans on his new identity. Randy's enthusiasm for his business had overtaken everything else in his life. He even went to China to expand on his business, and it was over there he literally changed the world for the worst. During a wild night out with a certain mouse, he did the unthinkable and did the naughty with a bat and a pangolin. And so this started the spread of the C word that also cannot be named because of dear old YouTube. Randy as an old man. In the original future for South Park, as shown in season 24, South Park post C word, Stan's frustrations with his father led him to burn down the farm. But Stan hadn't realized that Randy grounded Shelly by locking her up in the barn, so he basically caused the end of his sister. Sharon also passed away due to grief, and Stan and Randy blamed each other for the passing of half of their family. And so their relationship crumbled, resulting in Randy alone in a retirement home while Stan found a career as an online whiskey consultant. The two would reluctantly reunite, and both ended up working on individual attempts to try and fix the world, although as expected they differed on how exactly to do it. But thanks to the efforts of the time-displaced Stan, Carl and Cartman, the timeline was reset. In this comparatively utopian timeline, the world gave each other a bit more of a break, allowing Randy to make some semblance of peace with his family. Since then, Randy has been in a bitter war with Tolkien's dad Steve. Setting up a rival farm next door, Randy has been trying hard to keep his integrity as the feud gets dirty. As the series continues, expect Randy to get into more and more ridiculous situations, hopefully this time not including a pangolin. And so that completes this timeline video. Let me know in the comments your favourite Randy moments. And let me know in the comments your favourite Randy moments and when you think his character took a dramatic turn. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.